Are we filming?
Yeah. We've been filming this whole. We're 1 minute and 35 seconds. 35
Like,
seconds.
wait. Did I say welcome? Welcome. You're listening to. I do, right? Welcome. You're listening to Nuditea, a podcast where we get naked with our feelings while drinking tea. I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Wendy. And on this podcast, we talk about adult life, our feelings, food, travel. Today, we're talking about food. We're talking about food that we dislike specifically, because I feel like we like a lot of things. And we will talk about one food that we love, but mostly about foods that we do not like as much. But first, let's talk about our teas. So, last time, we both had the genmaicha that Kimberly brought back from Japan. Today, Kim is having a genmaicha that I bought from a Japanese grocery store. The grocery store guy said that this was a solid option. And it was so cheap. Kim, that bag...
It's lasted you forever.
It's so huge and it was so cheap. And I'm having Zen Pearls from David's Tea.
Okay.
Yeah. So you had nothing to say for that whole bit because I did the teas today, so
fine.
Call the shots.
Probably won't be able to tell the difference. Should I be able to tell the difference, or should they be almost the same? Okay,
here's the thing. I think the genmaicha that you brought back from Japan, the rice looked pretty pale. I'm thinking it might have been more of like a gently puffed rice, whereas this one is roasted. A distinctly roasted rice. The rice in there is brown.
Mm-hmm.
That rice is pretty brown, so it might taste a little more toasty.
I love my toasty. I love toasted sesame seeds. Mm-hmm. Not one of my favorite, not what I'm going to talk about today for foods, but love that kind of taste.
Yes.
So,
yes. No, I love the genmaicha. It's cold today, you know, it's fall. We just turned on the heating in our house. It's a good time for tea. I'm starting to already get the podcast sweats, though, so this hoodie's already a mistake.
I'm surprised you're diving into David's Tea again, right after your huge disappointment.
Oh my god, guys. Do not buy the Buzz from David's Tea. It is garbage. It smells delicious. It smells delightful. It's supposed to have like some matcha, a bunch of different other things. When you look at it, it's like mainly lemongrass. Looks like there's ginger chunks. Should be, in theory, a lovely combination, but instead it tastes like paper towel with a hint of grass. It's terrible. I'm highly disappointed. I was just telling Kim, if it tasted like nothing but ginger, I would have been okay with that, because I love ginger, but it didn't even taste like ginger. Honestly, I've never been more disappointed with a David's Tea. This is equivalent to that time we tried that vanilla hazelnut from Stash. Mm-hmm. This is equivalent to how garbage this tea taste is.
Yeah.
That's my tea rant for today. So number one on my things that I hate, David's Tea, the Buzz, don't get it. And also Stash, vanilla hazelnut, garbage.
Do you think they named it the Buzz to create a fake persona of people talking about it, that it was buzzworthy?
Maybe.
To get them to buy this garbage tea?
There is no reason that they could have named this tea the Buzz, because it's nothing but like matcha with no other caffeinated ingredients, so it will not give you a buzz. It does not cause a buzz because it's terrible. Oh, maybe that's the Buzz. The Buzz is everyone's talking about how terrible it is. I'm so angry. I'm so angry.
Let's continue this anger into talking about foods that you hate. We haven't talked about food in a bit, I feel like.
Yeah, no, we are past due for a food one. And again, I'm going to get into the habit of making you start because
I need a little cup. I need a plate to put this. 1 second.
Kim needs a moment. For everyone who's watching, Kim's got this little tea strainer. It's adorable. It's a little teacup, but it keeps smacking her in the face every time she tries to take a drink. So
and it creates a terrible noise. That
it does.
Probably not great for editing purposes.
Yay!
Okay. So, foods that I hate, I'm only going to go into 2, and pretty much everyone that's listening to this already knows that I hate these things and why I hate them, but, you know, I'm going to tell you again. So, number 1, I actually love pasta in general. It's so versatile, easy to make, I get it at restaurants, I'm never really disappointed, except for spaghetti. A lot of people think this is weird, because what's wrong with spaghetti? It's so classic.
There's nothing wrong with spaghetti. there's, continue, but I'm just gonna preface this. There's nothing wrong with spaghetti, okay? Okay. Continue.
We had spaghetti a lot growing up as a kid, and that's because it's easy to make. As you know, large family. So my mom would make it and it would last a number of days, and she could use the spaghetti pasta for a number of other dishes. I didn't have a problem with spaghetti meat bag.
I'm sorry, what is a spaghetti meat bag?
Oh, it's basically you use the spaghetti meat, like the spaghetti noodles, and I have to look at the recipe, but it's almost just like a different form of spaghetti
meat?
But it's like meat and cheese. It's almost like a casserole-esque dish.
Oh, so do you just like layer the ingredients and bake it?
I don't even know if it's really that layered. Maybe my mother does like spaghetti, meat, and cheese. But I'm not 100% sure. It's been a while since I've had it.
Oh my god, it's like a lasagna, but instead of lasagna noodles, you just put in spaghetti. Mm-hmm.
So
amazing. Okay.
I love that.
That sounds delicious. I'm gonna have to try that.
Yeah. So I don't know what it is. People are always like, oh, it must be the sauce. Because usually people hate spaghetti for some reason. It's the sauce. But no, my mother probably makes a really good sauce. And she also throws so much sugar into that. Oof. It's the noodle itself. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like the size. I honestly, I don't think there's any rational reason why I hate it. I just know we ate it a lot as a kid. Mm-hmm. And from early on, I would take a very little amount. Siblings would always kind of make fun of me. Enough pasta. Load on that cheese. You load on that cheese, you can cover anything that you hate. Okay,
but so you don't like spaghetti pasta noodles. How do you feel about angel hair?
I think I'm fine with it. I don't know.
Kim, that makes no sense.
I know. I also don't eat a lot of that, though. I'm not going to the grocery store and picking that up. But I know my mom would make this angel pasta, dish. And it was pretty much just a lot of that. Throw some chicken, some vegetables, and probably like an olive oil parmesan kind of dressing thing that she mixes it all in. Again, delicious. I have to look at the recipe, but that's what I remember. And I didn't have such a hard time with that.
Now I'm very confused. I feel like I never asked you about angel hair pasta before, and now
you just assumed
everything
that I hated that.
Everything that I believed in has been turned upside down.
I like spaghettini better than I like spaghetti.
Oh my god, it goes spaghetti, spaghettini, and then like angel hair pasta. I almost want to believe that spaghettini and angel hair pasta might almost be exactly the same thing. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I honestly
think it might be.
I feel like they're the same diameter.
That makes sense that I don't hate one or the other, but...
No, it's just that if you like angel hair, if you have no problem with the angel hair, but then moving like a millimeter up in diameter into spaghetti and then suddenly becomes an issue.
Throws it all off. I'm not sure what it is.
I'm confused.
I'm not sure what it is. I do know that, so I hated it so much as a child. My mother knew this, but, you can't cater to all your children. They eat what they eat, or whatever they serve them. Whatever you serve them. Mm-hmm. And I remember one time, so I was going off to university, first year, and I was leaving the next day. Yes, I was leaving the next day. My brother was moving to probably Switzerland at the time to go do some YWAM things.
Okay.
So he's leaving in 3 days, I'm leaving the next day. And the final dinner, my mother's like, oh, your brother is leaving. She makes spaghetti, because he loves spaghetti. And I'm all like, he's leaving in 3 days. I'm leaving tomorrow. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, Kim.
I mean, this is strange for me, because I feel like the only reason you hate spaghetti is because you had it too much as a kid. But clearly, that didn't translate.
No, all my other siblings love it.
All of them?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
They would take a normal amount, and I would take such a teeny amount.
I love spaghetti. I really love spaghetti.
I also have had this discussion with a number of friends. I don't really understand people who order spaghetti at a restaurant.
No, I would never order spaghetti at a restaurant. If I'm going to like an Italian restaurant, I would probably do like
any other pasta. I would do any other pasta over spaghetti.
Raviolis are good. Fettuccinis are... You like a good fettuccine.
Oh my goodness, I love a fettuccine.
With Alfredo sauce, that is like Kim's go-to pasta combo. No, okay. Well, okay, let's just keep rolling with this, because I feel like this hatred of things that you had too much as a kid rolls into your second dislike.
And that's oatmeal.
Yes.
I really wish today I could eat oatmeal, because that thing is filling, it is cost effective, And you can do probably a lot of things with the toppings, and you could make it interesting. And I know you've gotten onto a big oatmeal kick.
Yep.
And I have tried, like, sporadically to eat oatmeal so I can get back into it. Can't do it. I can't do it. Again, big family, cost-saving thing. We would have it Mondays through Fridays every morning before school.
That's a lot. That is a lot of oatmeal.
It's a lot. And well, I know that my mom would also make cream of wheat, and I hate that even more. But she would rarely make that.
What the heck is cream of... I'm learning so many white people things. Cream of wheat? What is that?
It's almost, I feel like, if I remember correctly, again, she didn't make it all that often. She doesn't make it now. But it's more of like a soupy oatmeal.
Oh my god, I feel like I would love that.
You love congee, and that's very soupy.
I need to look into cream of wheat. That sounds delicious.
Again, you might want to fact check me on that, but that is what my memory serves.
Because I eat my oatmeal pretty soupy to get it into the same consistency as congee, which is almost just watery rice.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe you should look into it.
Okay, so you had cream of wheat, oatmeal, mostly oatmeal.
Oatmeal. And it wasn't like your Quaker ready packs that people love. It was very much bulk. My mother would make a big amount of it, and it's lumpy, and it's just the wrong amount of liquidy, but like squelchy? I don't know. And like...
yeah, oatmeal does tend to form a bit of a crust. Like if you've made so much of it and it's been like, you know, portioned out into 6 little bowls, it hardens up, it forms that crust, and even if you try to add more milk to it, it kind of forms like lumps.
It's the texture. Number one is, I think, that what turned all of us on. Because we'd put enough brown sugar, we'd put some milk in there, and we would try to get through it. All of us hated eating it as a kid. I think some of my siblings have grown to be able to eat it again, but not all of us.
What proportion of you can eat oatmeal happily now?
Like maybe half?
Oh, okay.
So 3 of us?
Okay, not bad. You're not one of them.
I am not one of them. I haven't taken a survey, so again...
That's an estimate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably a biased estimate. But, so we, I think, would dish it up ourselves, or Mom would dish it up for us, and it would be like the tiniest little bit, and we'd put up such a stink about eating it. And my father...
You ungrateful swine!
Hey.
Take your oatmeal and love it.
Hey, we would eat it, for the most part. My father, when we were children, we could not fathom it, but he would come up and have the, like... big bowl, it would be up to the brim, throw some brown sugar on it. He would eat that whole thing before some of us could stomach eating that tiny bit. Like, I can't stress how, it was like basically 2 bites. 2 big bites, and we probably, maybe 3, and we could get through it. But sometimes you would sit there, and Mom wouldn't really let you leave the table until you were done eating breakfast. But then there was also times where she's like, they're going to... If we're playing chicken, we would sit there and probably just miss the bus. She'd be like, go catch the bus. And then you know what you would have on waiting for you when you got home in the fridge? A little bowl of oatmeal that you didn't eat. You'd have to eat it when you got home. So there was no avoiding this punishment.
Oh, Mama Wadham. So resourceful and not stingy. What's the word I'm looking for? Frugal. There we go. That's it. Frugal.
Yeah, I think it was also just making sure that we knew when something was put in front of us, we still had to eat it, no matter if we put it off or ate it right away.
It's crazy to me because, like, I feel like maybe other types of breakfast foods were also quite cost efficient. Like, there are certain brands of cereals.
It's also healthy, right? Oatmeal's healthy.
Well, like, certain cereals are quite healthy. Like, you can get the low sugar, whole wheat, like Wheaties or whatever.
We say it's cost effective. They're not that cost effective.
Yeah,
especially nowadays, they're pretty expensive.
Why are cereals so expensive these days? Oh my gosh. It costs like several heads of broccoli per box of cereal. And that's insane to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mother would always feel so bad, though, if she sent us off without breakfast. She'd have a little bit of guilt burrowing in on her. And we did get a reprieve on the weekends. We were allowed to eat. We did have, like, cereal, like your regular cereals and sugary cereals. And my siblings loved Corn Pops and probably other things. I don't really remember. I'm also not a big fan of cereal.
Why?
So, breakfast is just a no-go for me most of the time. But I still eat breakfast constantly. It is because of the The milk, when you added it, I had to eat it so fast because I hate how soggy.
I think
cereal
you
got.
have a thing with that kind of mushy wheat texture.
Maybe.
I think that's one of your things.
It's probably what all this.
Oh my god,
is
what
born
if spaghetti is the diameter that when you chew it in your mouth, it becomes that weedy, mushy texture, whereas angel hair and spaghettini are so thin that you kind of just like, you chew a few times and then you swallow before it becomes actual mush in your mouth. That's my theory.
Maybe. Wendy, the food psychologist here.
I should have gone into food science. I'm still regretting it to this day. Every person I talk to, I'm like, hey, I would like to go back and do food science.
You could, just a whole lot more schooling. Yay.
No, thank you. I'll lay in the bed that I've made.
So that kind of, I think, rounds out my two. Again, I don't hate much food. I think I ate spaghetti. I still eat spaghetti if it's served to me. I'm not going to choose to make it. And oatmeal is a hard pass. Just a hard pass.
Okay, so definitely no oatmeal.
Yeah.
I would like to do like a quick rapid fire round of other foods that I know you are not a fan of.
Okay, do you want me just to say them?
No, I'm going to say them.
And
then
I'll say
you can
yes.
either confirm or deny them.
Okay, are you going to say like just list them all off in one and I'll be like this was wrong and this was wrong, or you want
You
me
can
to
cut
say
me
yes?
off.
Yes.
You can cut
Okay.
me off if I've said something that you disagree with.
Okay.
Okay? Walnuts, almonds, pecans, cucumber, pear. Blueberry is not like a dislike, it's more just like not your first choice of fruit.
I can take
Anything-
wild blueberry.
Okay. Oh, this is a recent discovery.
My friend and I were at the Union Market recently, and they had some like really, they weren't probably wild, but they were just the right amount of like sweetness. I find that the store-bought blueberries are so bland and just churned out, and the flavor's not there, and I'd rather eat another berry over blueberries. Blackberries, raspberries, strawberries. I can eat all those, but blueberries are just like kind of too bland for me, and people love them.
Honestly, I do kind of agree with you. I could eat an entire pint of grocery store blueberries, and I eat the pint because that's how much it takes for me to get the flavor of blueberry in my mouth, because they are fairly bland. But no, it's true. Like, you take a fistful, which is the pint, and then you stuff it all in your mouth, and that's like, blueberry. But the wild blueberries are so fragrant. They've got a little more tartness, aka just more flavor in general, but I love the fragrance. It's like the essence of blueberry fragrance in wild blueberries that I think has really captured your heart and has charmed you into liking blueberries now.
I mean, I wouldn't straight up say that I'm in love with them, but
wild blueberries are so much better. I went on a little wild blueberry picking adventure with my parents recently. So good. So good.
I feel like I'm gonna be that person in the restaurant. Are your blueberries wild, not farmed?
Organic, probably peed on by a mountain goat.
That's where you get your flavor. Any other
Okay.
ones?
Was cucumber one of them? Did I say that already?
You did. Basically,
Okay,
just like
melon.
weak flavored water. Who wants that? Melon,
Same with
thing.
melon.
Watermelon, same thing.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Okay. Things like that are kind of mochi-ish.
Yeah, not a huge
Like
fan.
that sticky rice, glutinous rice cooked texture where it's got like gummy chewiness, which I strongly disagree.
You love it.
I think you're wrong for not liking that.
Yeah, when we were in Japan, some desserts were rough for me because there's like that texture. It's the texture, I think. Like the flavor's fine, but just getting past some of that gummy, I don't know, that mouthfeel.
So good.
You love it.
It's one of my favorite things. It's like when I made those glutinous rice desserts for you, tangyuan, that are filled with like a sesame or peanut paste. Those are like some of my favorite desserts, and you hated them. And I respect you and your opinions, and I also strongly disagree with them.
I feel like when we were, when I was in Japan and we made the udon, if you listen to previous episodes, I talk about it for a bit. The dessert that we had was it mochi?
Yes.
Is that right?
The one with the bean powder on the outside, right?
I don't know what kind of, he got the right kind of texture, mouthfeel, consistency. Because it wasn't like other mochi I think I've had. And then the peanut flavor was just kind of perfect.
So that kind, the one that has the roasted bean powder on the outside, that is actually not made with glutinous rice. It's made with another starch that is a lot less gummy than glutinous rice mochis are. Okay. So that's probably why. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's more, I can't remember what kind of starch it's made of. I don't know, Google it. I'll find out later.
That wraps up my dislike for certain foods.
Okay, and then mine is fairly easy to get through. Basically, I have an old granny palate, and I dislike everything that has a very strong flavor, except for maybe spice. Mm-hmm. I don't like
sweet flavor.
I hate anything that is too sweet. Kim knows that every time I bake, I cut out like 80% of the sugar, which has screwed me over in some recipes, especially for cookies. But I don't care because I'm not going to eat it if it's at 100% sugar in the recipe. It's too sweet. It like coats my mouth. I get like a stinging, almost pain from it, which is very strange. And that's the same feeling I get from foods that are too salty. So I can't handle things that are too sweet. I can't handle things that are too salty for the exact same reasons. And I don't like things that are too crispy or too crunchy, like kettle cooked chips. I have a really hard time with kettle cooked chips because I do love that fried flavor of chips, but they're two of the things that I don't like. They're too crunchy. They cut up the inside of my mouth. I have a very delicate palate in terms of like physically. I have a physically weak palate because anything sharp that gets in there, it just scratches it. It's very abrasive and I don't like that. I eat the crunchy thing and then because those chips are loaded in salt, it's just like, oh, wounds, and then here's a splash of salt. So it's like the worst combination. Kettle cooked chips are danger zone for me. And then one thing that I really am sad about is crusty breads. I love like a good artisan loaf, especially when they're like freshly baked, but that's when they're the crispiest in their crust, and those really mess me up. I can't do like sandwiches that have a crusty bread because by the end of it, I will not be able to eat anything for the rest of the day because my mouth is like inflamed and unhappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then here's me just toasting it at the highest possible level. If you ate anything I ate for breakfast, you cut yourself every single day. Honestly,
I think I like the flavor of like burnt bread. It's delicious. It tastes, anything that is burnt, that is where all the flavor is, okay? It's delicious, but I can't do it because it ruins my entire day. That is not the way to start out my breakfast, by ripping apart the top of my mouth. That's not how I want to go. And I think that's why maybe this energy that I have is transcending into my sourdough starters, because my sourdough starter is incapable of making like a super crusty loaf. It makes like a very moist, like pillowy, bouncy bread that has a very gentle crust. It's just like a little blanket. It's not like an outer fortress.
And I'd be like, Wendy, this bread's not done. I'm packing that up.
And I'm like, Kim, this is the only way I can eat it.
This bread isn't for you, it's for me. No.
It's my sourdough starter. I made this. Sorry, I don't know why we're getting into this like hypothetical fight that never has happened. So essentially, salty, sweet, crusty are my three things. Which is, it makes me very sad, actually, that I can't have those things. Because I do like dessert. Every period, I have a strong craving for sweet things. Normally, I don't have a sweet tooth. I have a very savory tooth. But when I get my period, I'm like, I want brownies, I want cake, I want tarts, I want pie.
And for like a second. And then you're like, oh, one bite, I'm good.
Well, that's because it's too sweet, Kim. It's too sweet. I want desserts to be like Asian desserts where it's like so barely like a faint whisper of sugar.
You love your red bean?
Yeah, I love my red bean desserts. Okay. I love mochi because it's basically just flavorless and chewy and just like a dash of a little bit of sugar on the outside / red bean on the inside. I like desserts that are soothing and not abrasive in how sweet they are. Because I do love desserts, and most desserts I can enjoy to their full capacity because I have one bite and I'm like, that's enough. That's enough for me.
I think between growing up eating my mom's pretty sweet desserts and then living with you, I found this happy medium ground sweetness, I think, for the most part, because there's sometimes I'm like, oh, this is too sweet, and I'm like, am I turning into Wendy? And then our old roommate,
a little bit.
Our old roommate, basically, we were in a range. Wendy hates sweetness. Then there's me, and then there was our old roommate who just,
oof,
you couldn't get nothing sweet enough. I don't think.
No, and she could do back to back sweet. It's insane.
Which is great for finishing up baked goods that I don't want to end up eating all of.
Oh my god, when Chocolat Favori messed up my ice cream order once, she had a medium cone, and those medium cones are literally like maybe 2 of my fists stacked. She ate her medium cone and then ate my baby cone, just like it was nothing. It was
she's a champ.
Impressive.
She's
impressive.
A champ.
Those cones are no joke. They're very sweet. That's why I get the baby cones.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect amount.
I will say, on a scale of things you absolutely hate, it'd probably go sweetness, then crunchy, and then salty. If you had to eat one of those, it's you could handle too salty. Crunchy would just ruin the rest of the eating, but then too sweet's just
I literally just had a fast food craving, junk food craving this morning. Goodness. I'm not opposed to having things that are too salty. I would just prefer not to. But when I get those cravings, I will go out and hoover 3 McDonald's burgers and some fries. Because it's just so satisfying. It's what your body craves sometimes. Yeah, sweet I can't handle. You're right. That ranking, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any things that you think that I hate?
You like most things.
I do like most things. I'm not a very...
You're putting me on the spot. I didn't know if I'm pretty...
I'm putting myself on the spot. I'm trying to think. I used to not like apples.
That's true.
And then suddenly, a year and a half ago, suddenly I enjoyed apples. And now I love all foods.
You're not a huge fan every once in a while of white people food? You're kind of just too boring, kind of, I think.
I feel like
that's all I got on my list. You had 5 things, because I'm probably 10 things, because I'm very open about that.
Yeah, I eat most foods, but again, I would prefer foods that are way more flavorful. And that is usually not white people food. I find white people food is just you have salt and pepper and maybe sometimes some herbs as your main spices.
I think white people have gotten a little bit better at switching it up. I was just at this restaurant and I had this duck pizza. Oh, it was sweet, it was savory, it was salty. No heat, but that's fine. Every once in a while you can't get all of them. But
sometimes you have to leave one of those things out and then it's perfect as is. No, yeah, Asian food is my jam for the most part. Okay.
So we're going to end on a positive as we try to. And just favorite, I think one or favorite food. I'm going to say 2 just because I'm going to actually pick an actual food.
Yeah.
And then
don't limit yourself.
And then I'm
going to
pick a junk food.
Go for it.
And I'm sure you can guess what the junk food is.
I can immediately guess what the junk food is.
We'll go with, I think you kind of asked me just before, you have to think of a favorite food. If I had more time, I probably could really think about it, but then I probably wouldn't because I get bored. I think raspberries. Raspberry flavor. First of all, raspberries are underrated. Strawberries are overrated, as well as blueberries. They're almost, they do a decent job being good all year round. Strawberries are very limited, I feel like.
Yeah,
to
strawberries
their season.
Are garbage.
Same with blueberries. And
we already kind of agree that blueberries are kind of shitty all year round.
And I know the complaint about raspberries is the seeds. Whatever, I'll deal with the seeds. They get stuck in your teeth a little bit more. But I think the flavor's good. You can basically put it on anything. I don't know. It's just so versatile and just love the flavor.
You can do desserts.
You can throw them in salads. Make a puree out of it. If I was that fancy at cooking, I'm really not. And then, of course, most of you will be thinking in your mind, what is Kim's favorite junk food? Jalapeno Cheetos.
Obviously.
It's kind of like your addiction to waffles, unless it's faded now.
Oh,
You're
waffles
always
has
kind
faded.
of okay.
No.
Wendy was craving waffles kind of at any time during your masters, I think.
Masters, and then almost halfway into this PhD.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so jalapeno Cheetos, I'm always all like, must be getting my period, or I must be on my period. You know what? I don't need that excuse. I could eat those things at all moments of my life because they are the perfect heat level of jalapeno. They've nailed it.
Yeah,
you still taste the cheese.
They've done a wonderful job. Those food scientists working to make jalapeno Cheetos, well done. Everyone gets a raise because I have, the authority to do that. I think that jalapeno Cheetos are amazing because they're not too salty. They're not abrasively crunchy. They're the perfect junk food for me as well. This is like where worlds collide and it becomes like a beautiful paradise.
And I think crunchy cheesies are superior to puff cheesies.
Oh my god. No, screw puffy cheesies. I hate those things. Xiaomin likes the puffy kind and not the crunchy kind. And I think we might have to get divorced.
Apart.
I think we might have to get a divorce. It's too much to handle.
It's also crazy how different regular Cheetos taste from jalapeno Cheetos.
It's true. I think the cheesiness is different. It has a different, it almost has like, kind of like a more pepper jack aspect to it, whereas the normal ones are just like very cheddar.
Still good, but
yeah, no. Normal crunchy Cheetos, already A+ food. Jalapeno crunchy Cheetos, like out of this world. Like many, many bonus marks. So good.
Good job, Cheetos.
Okay, my favorite food. I don't have anything super specific because I can't. I can't decide. Yeah. I have lumped my favorite food into one category, and that is noodles. I am a huge noodle fan. I love all noodles. I love all versions of pasta, unlike this crazy one here.
It's like one version. I'm not insane.
Spaghetti is so classic. It's just so classic, so easy. The sauce coats it so well. It's delightful. I mean, all pasta is delightful. But I think you're really missing out with your hatred of spaghetti.
There's so many good pastas out there. I don't need spaghetti.
Ooh, a good
I don't feel a hole in my life. Rotini.
Oh yeah, so good. Fettuccine, we all agree. Anyway, so Italian noodles, fantastic. Asian noodles, rice noodles, udon, ramen, Chinese la mian, like bean noodles. Have you ever had a good bean noodle?
I don't know, probably not.
They're so good, so many varieties. Vermicelli, we've got like those thick rice noodles. All noodles are delicious, and the number of ways you can have them. You can have them like cold and like in a pasta salad, or in China we have like a spicy vinegary like mix with rice noodles. You can get them kind of in like a jelly-ish format. I don't know if those qualify as noodles, but they're almost like chunks of jelly that can be made of like chestnut starch or acorn starch, which is a Korean thing. Chinese people use like a pea starch or other nuts. You can have them hot. You can have them dry and stir fry. You can have them hot in a noodle soup. You can add anything you want to them. They're very open to interpretation and your emotions of the day. They're just so versatile, so delicious, satisfying, healthy or not healthy. Instant noodles. Ugh. So many types. I'm getting very hot and riled up because of my love for noodles. It's just so good. That is my one category of food that I will love forever in the deepest part of my heart. That's it. Okay. That's it. That's just like at the bottom.
Okay.
The deepest part's the bottom.
What else could be the center?
Yeah, that's true. No, I'm going to go with the bottom.
Okay.
The bottom of my heart.
It also sounds like though where you like keep your least loved things.
No,
you're at the bottom of my heart. I know, from the bottom of my heart.
From the bottom of my heart, it's like you're so sincere. And I'm sincere about my love for noodles. I think all noodles are fantastic. I have never had a noodle that I do not like. I don't think I've ever had a noodle that I do not like. Even if it was like cooked terribly, I'm like, still gonna eat it. It's a noodle.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Nudity and for each of us to express our hatred and love for food. You can follow us on anywhere you listen to podcasts. We also have an Instagram at Nudity Podcast. Wendy does some video editing version on YouTube. Again, you can find us at Nudity Podcast. Blanked on the word podcast. Anywhere, but yeah. Cool.
Okay, bye.
Bye.